Hello again, YouTube. This is The Truth Man. The channel is the No Matrix, No Simping All Subjects channel. A lot of people is in this space, and I've heard at least 20 people saying that there's nothing left to talk about in terms of dating and relationship. And I definitely disagree. There's always something to talk about because the attitudes and the personalities and everything else is constantly changing in regards to men and women. On this one, I want to talk to you about taking advice from married men in terms of dating and relationship. Now, I know everybody wants to be an expert, but for you to know what you're talking about, you have to have a wide range of experiences and have seen the ups and the downs and be willing to talk about both. So you got to be careful with married men, and I'm gonna give you some reasons why. And this ain't gonna be the longest video y'all ever watched of mine, because y'all know how I do. It just depends on how quick I can convey my points. One reason is because, like, the married men on here, you know their wife is somewhere close. So a lot of times, some of them, they ain't gonna wanna say the wrong thing. So they gonna be, a lot of them are gonna be partial towards women for that reason. Cause they don't want their wife to hear them and be like, what did you mean by that? What do you know? That's drama for them. So that's one reason you gotta be careful with the advice of some of these married guys. Another reason is, if their wife is a unicorn, then they gonna think it's because of them. It's never because of you. It's never because of you. All you gotta do is go back to Adam and Eve. That's my best reference in regards to this point, is that none of these women will ever be what Eve was created to be. And Eve still chose to do otherwise. So this is why I always say that usually when the marriage is truly good, we ain't talking about a simp that's just giving somebody their way. That's not a good marriage. But when the marriage is truly good, it's 100% of the time because of the woman. Men just react to what the woman is in the marriage. So this is why you see a lot of women, they started out good. They started out selfless, but then they ended up selfish. They ended up quitting on you, quitting on this, quitting on that. Sometimes it's because they was putting on an act and probably just wanted to get married. And sometimes it's just because that's just how they change sometimes. And this is why I say it's never because of you. I know you want to stroke your ego and think you the answer for marriage, but every time people try to do that, it just happens a certain kind of way. I give you this example. Remember the movie Why I Get Married? Janet Jackson and Malik Yoba. That is how it is a lot of times when you got pretense and when you got people trying to think that they the answer. Remember his character at first, he was always the guy, the peacemaker type of guy. But the reality was he had his own problems too. And it spilled out into the whole series that the main one that was trying to advise people, she ended up being the one that had the most problems when it all came out. So don't think, well, you just ain't putting it down. Man, don't you know that a lot of times women, they'll lie. They'll either lie and say you putting it down, or they'll lie and say you not. Because this is the games they play. So Some guys, you'll have some guys that do the same moves and still effective at them. They still work. But their wives will be wanting to move on and wanting to get attention from new guys and get moves from new guys, and their curiosity start taking over. So they'll try to disconnect from the man by criticizing. Oh, he deadbeat, he broke, he this, he that. Let me tell y'all something right now. There are some guys that are broke because they were trying not to be broke. See, this is how it works. Any person that first business succeeds, and that's the business they run their whole life, you got blessed. Because most guys, you're going to go through a whole lot of business failure. You just got to keep trying. But the people will hold that against you. That's all they'll know. Well, he filed bankruptcy. He had a failed business. This, that, and the other. Because people, especially people nowadays, they want to be able to criticize you. That makes them feel good about themselves. They want to be able to think or say that they better than you. You ever got into an argument or a debate with somebody or disagree with somebody, and from that point on, they want to convince other people that they better than you, and they want to convince themselves that they better than you. We see that on YouTube. We see it everywhere. So y'all know it's snowing here, right? So this is why you can't just say, okay, well, he got a successful marriage, I'm gonna listen to him. For one, you don't know if he being genuine. He could be just disingenuous. He could be lying. So that's one reason. For two, ain't no perfect marriage. So anybody that's trying to act like they got a perfect marriage or their marriage is so good, that's a liar. Get away from him. That's definitely one you don't want to listen to. Here's who you want to listen to in closing. You want to listen to somebody that's not afraid to tell the truth about all the bad stuff. That's the most important thing. The most important thing is hearing how it could go wrong. Because that's what most people gonna end up dealing with anyways. You need to hear how it could go wrong. Because you got to realize that the dude that's talking about how wonderful marriage is, his wife is only one woman. So your woman, 9 times out of 10, is going to have a different personality than the guy who talks about how great marriage is. I had to learn this because, like, way back, I'm watching my pastor at the time just acting like how his marriage was so great. And I'm thinking to myself, what's the problem in mine? It wasn't horrible at that point, but it wasn't perfect either. So I'm thinking, like, what's the difference between him and me? We both men. Over time, I start realizing that some of these dudes be acting fake. They'd be trying to get brownie points with the women in their church. And they be trying to act like they the wise guru. So that's the most important thing. You gotta listen to people that's gonna give you all the bad. All the bad. That's gonna tell you about how women use sex as a weapon sometimes. It's gonna tell you about all the silent treatment where you can't get nothing done because she's mad at you and y'all not communicating. And then the kids that need something from the store, but she ain't talking to you. She wait till you come in the house ready to take your shoes off. And now she want to tell you what they need. And that's just going to be even another argument. See, they don't tell you about that stuff. They don't tell you about the stuff where you be just wanting to watch the game. And they want to watch some movie with cry scenes and sad. They don't tell you about the emasculation. Oh, you shouldn't have did that. You get into it with people and they act like it's always you. See, you need people that's going to tell you everything. They ain't going to tell you about how you get into it with them and then they go back to other people's stuff that other people said that was just trying to criticize you that 9 times out of 10 didn't know what they was talking about. They don't tell you about that. They don't tell you about that stuff. So, but you want a person that's going to also show you the good things. Like, even if theirs is bad, if they'll tell you the good things that happen, that's a balance. That's a balance. Me, I've experienced both. And I'm willing to talk about both. I've experienced the good and the bad. Like sometimes you will have a woman that's an excellent mother for your kids, which that's the most important thing. Like when you start having kids, you want them to be a good mother. So, but it just didn't work out between y'all. Because sometimes it just don't. It just depends on your person. If you a macho dude, if you like a dude that don't put up with no nonsense, you gonna have problems in your marriage, man. If you an alpha, you gonna have problems in your marriage, man. Because the beta can't see the problems in his marriage. He could be cheating on his wife, and then he'll come to work talking about his vacation, showing pictures. And if it's a room full of betas, they probably gonna be doing the same thing. Cheating on their wife with women at work, then want to talk about their marriage. And the other women at work be looking at them like, man, this dude is so phony. So you want to be able to hear both. You want to be able to talk about both if you go and advise people. And you want to hear it from a dude that has experienced many women. Had girlfriends before he got married. You don't want a dude who only dealt with one woman. How he gonna tell you anything? He only dealt with one woman. Most people deal with more than one woman. So don't listen to no dude trying to tell you about marriage and he ain't even had a variety of experiences. And limit how much you listen to guys that ain't never been married or had kids. Because you got to be able to see how they act different when they start having kids. A lot of them do. Almost all of them do. Because they gain an advantage. So, watch out for them bachelor dudes. You could listen to them and they might be able to give you some experience based on people they know and research and stuff like that. But if you're going to get the whole scope, you got to get it from guys that been married and divorced, guys that been married more than once sometimes. I'll be able to show you some things. But just be careful with this advice. And there's still plenty of advice, plenty of things to talk about. People it's a lot of agents on YouTube. We don't know exactly which ones. They just want black people to be divided. They want to stop the population, so they don't want people to have kids. They don't want these kids to have guides. Just all kind of stuff going on. But anyway, you know we're going to be back. This is The Truth Man. The channel is the No Matrix, No Simping, All Subjects channel.